Welcome back to the Catch-Up. It's your host, Kat. Once again, I've got someone different with me today. I thought there's been some evidence over the past couple of weeks that Guru, he might not be as much of a guru as we all thought. So I wanted to get a real guru on to episode. And I think I've struck gold with you. Welcome, Winston Neville, the guru of the Bulldogs.
The guru of the Bulldogs. I like that. That sounds pretty good. I don't know why I'm sitting in Guru's seat. I feel like that could be a bit controversial. If he walks into the room with us, could cop a Des Hasler spray off him. But no, happy to be here. Happy to be back.
Yeah, you've become a bit of a regular here. You're always welcome in these doors, and you found the place, no problem, which is a sign that you're a loyal visitor. But look, people are going to hate me for what I said about Guru just now. We all love Rugby League Guru, me of course, but the reason I bring you up as the Bulldogs guru is because you have built a brand around your knowledge of the Bulldogs, but I think more than anything, your passion of the Bulldogs. And we've brought you up on many episodes of the Catch-Up. There's actually been only 3 episodes of the Catch-Up, but I think your name might have been dropped in at least 2 of those 3. And that's because the content that you do is unreal and you've got the attention of the club as well. So do you want to just fill everyone in a little bit on what you do and I guess where the passion for the Bulldogs comes from?
Yeah, well, firstly, I just want to say when I'm sitting down on a Tuesday night playing Rugby League Live on the PlayStation, Catch-Up playing in the background and you hear your name pop up, very confusing, very confusing. But yeah, obviously I'm a big Bulldogs fan. I was on here a couple months ago now doing the Bulldogs Best 17. So if you watched that, you probably would have heard almost too much about me. But yeah, passionate Bulldogs fan. Got to do content with the club the other week, which was super sick. Yeah.
That's the dream, I feel. Like when you're creating content in this space, to have the attention of the club that you're passionate about and for them to just say, we want to collaborate with you, but do what you do best, that's the dream. And I guess that's what this show is for too. We like to draw attention to what people are doing in this space. It's pretty difficult as a creator initially trying to get seen and whatnot. And Rugby League Guru is he loves supporting any emerging creators. So I think that's kind of what spawned this show as well.
Yeah, 100%. It was pretty humbling to, I guess, be acknowledged by the club.
Yeah.
It's a pretty surreal feeling being such a big fan of the club, like literally my whole life. A lot of people would just see it through my content, but before I was doing content, like literally my whole life, I've been such a big Bulldogs fan. So to look back on like me as a little kid and then see me doing content with the Bulldogs, obviously it wasn't this huge thing or anything, but it is pretty cool to look back on. And Guru obviously loves to help promote the little guy, Roasty as well.
Yeah, Roasty
does a lot. So it's good.
I see Roasty shares a lot of your stuff too.
Yeah, Roasty's been a legend. He's absolutely carrying my content at the moment. He's very, I do the quizzes obviously on Reels and on TikTok, and the first one or one of the first ones I posted, I just invited Roasty as a collaborator to see if he'd collab it, and he did. And then he just keeps doing it every week. And then we were joking. When I did the one with the Bulldogs, we were joking that he'd been replaced by the Bulldogs. So, but he took it nicely.
No, he's so supportive. And Guru was saying the other day when we alluded to getting you on this episode, he was saying just how much Roosty is in your corner. He backs you. He's such a fan of all your work. So welcome to the Catch-Up. We will catch up with you properly at the end of the episode as well. So stick around if you want to know a bit more about Winston's story. But let's just get straight into the content. So I asked on social media what people wanted us to talk about today. And it's only natural that we got quite a few about the Good Friday clash between our 2 teams. So I was there obviously supporting the Rabbitohs. You were there supporting the Bulldogs. But before we kind of get into that game and that fixture, also, we're not going to get too technical, guys. That's Guru's territory. I know where I belong, and I think we agree that, we'll stick to hot dog reviews and that kind of thing.
Bun reviews, as you alluded to last
because
Friday.
we don't eat meat on Fridays, so it would have just been a bun review.
A roll review, but didn't happen, unfortunately.
No.
Nobody wants to see that.
No, I think it was probably for the best. So before we get into that game, I want to talk about a piece of content that is my absolute favorite from you. And if you have not seen this, I just feel bad for people that don't know about this, because I think it's been one of the highlights of the 2024 season so far. Bronson Xerri and Thanks Helen. I'm going to insert a clip here, but can you please just explain to us how this Thanks Helen movement started?
Good luck for the season, darling.
Thanks, Helen.
You're looking so good. Look how shredded you are.
That was a good workout, Helen. Very good. I'm ready for the season. Let's do it.
All the best.
Yeah, thanks, Helen. It's so good. So I don't know how much detail I can go into about how it came across my desk, but an anonymous person, it's not safe to call them out because they've got ties with certain, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to call them out, but somebody sent it to me and they said, you got to do something with this.
You got to get around
it's too good to ignore. And sometimes I'll get DMs like that and usually it's nothing that exciting, but I watched the clip and just I was laughing out loud at it initially. It was just so awkward, the video. Just the way he says, thanks, Helen. Bronson Sherry in that video is just all time. And then me and the guy, we joked about it a little bit. And then I just was like, all right, let's see what I can do. And tried to post it across just everything. And yeah, it took off.
It absolutely took off. And it's at the point now where you've got thanks, Helen comments on photos that have nothing to do with Bronson Sherry or Helen. Yeah. By the way, Helen, she's awesome. Like, what an athlete.
Yeah. So the best part about it is just how much it blew up. Every time Bronson Sherry posts now,
thanks,
his
Helen.
comments are just full of them. But Helen also just has taken the joke with both hands, and she's posting TikToks, making jokes about it when Bronson Sherry came back into her Pilates studio. So it's really good. The Dragons, they were doing Pilates with her. It might have just been yesterday, and she posted up the TikTok, and right at the end of the video, one of the Dragons players says to her, thanks, Helen. And the video cuts off. It's so good.
This is what I love about social media, and also the players seeing the lighthearted, fun side of it, playing along a little bit. I just think it's content gold, but it's also it's what you want to see. It's that fusion of the fun stuff off the field, but also just players not taking themselves too seriously.
And I feel like it's a harmless one as well, which is always good. It's obviously things can spread on social media that are harmful, but when it's something just so lighthearted and the players get into it, you got guys like Reid Marnie commenting it on Bronson Cherry's post. Obviously, it's an inside joke in their camp, and it's good that the fans can be part of that inside joke as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think thanks, Helen is absolute gold, and I hope it lives on for a long time.
Me too. Surely get some thanks, Helen shirts or something coming soon, I reckon.
There's a business idea right there. You're a little bit of an entrepreneur, I see. Okay, let's jump into the Good Friday fixture. As I said, we were both at the game. I was very lucky to be given tickets from Rugby League Guru. He was invited by the Rabbitohs to the Churchill Club, which is there's a little pre-game event. We heard from Jai Arrow, talk through a bit of obviously what's happened with him so far this season, but then his thoughts on the team moving forward, and had some food and drink, and then obviously just got to enjoy the game. And you were also there supporting the doggies. You did your content as usual as well.
Yeah, so I spent the day at the Easter show. Obviously probably not as good as the Churchill Club, but yeah, I was at the Easter show with the family and then headed over to the game, shot some content. Obviously game day is big for me in terms of content.
Yeah.
I always like to get game day content, and then sat down and just watched the Bulldogs get robbed as usual on Good Friday.
Here we go. I do want to preface with the fact that I only got those Churchill Club tickets because Guru supports the Roosters and he doesn't leave the eastern suburbs. So that being out in Homebush was perfect for me.
Yeah, that did work out quite well for you, didn't it?
It worked out very well. Well, we obviously had a lot of questions about this game, the hip drop tackle, Jack Whiten, Fox. There were a number of things that happened in that game. I do think it wasn't a great performance from either side in particular, but I also think that Souths were desperate for their first win of the season. So I just look at that scoreline and I'm glad that we came out on top. But there was definitely no period of the game where I felt that we were 100% comfortable either. Yeah,
I think obviously, as you said, South's probably more desperate for the win. I guess that makes them. That sounds mean, but
no, but it's true.
They wanted it more, and I think obviously they ended up getting it. I said we were robbed. We weren't robbed. There were a couple of bad calls in my opinion, but that's rugby league. You get bad calls. People that can't accept that's just part of the game.
Yeah, and I think there were also questions or comments, I suppose, saying you look at what happened with Lockie Galvin and then with Jack Whiten. This is rugby league.
Yeah.
There's inconsistency across the board in the calls that are made. I am the least delusional Rabbitoh supporter ever. I can see when things shouldn't have gone our way
Yeah.
or should have gone our way. And I definitely think in that instance there was something that should have been done, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And a win's a win.
Yeah, and the Bulldogs had so many opportunities to score points, and they lost by 4 in the end. So if they just capitalised one more time, which they probably should have, they would have won. So they can't just sit around playing with the refs.
And they didn't just sit around because you got to try right at the end of the game
Yeah.
too. So the boys were trying pretty hard. But anyway, I want to, speaking of trying hard, now we're going to delve into your Yowie chocolate egg experience. And why I say trying hard, it will make sense because you obviously, you did a lot to find a Bulldogs Yowie. But the NRL Easter egg, for some reason, has just caused a lot of controversy. It's been a real headliner over the weekend. Granted, this is off the back of Easter weekend, so we're going to be touching on a lot of Easter-related things. But we all know about the NRL milk chocolate football, the egg that everybody wanted growing up, the big golden egg, right?
Yeah.
300 grams worth of chocolate. That's a hefty egg, right?
I remember as a kid, and to be fair, when you're a kid, everything seems a little bit bigger, but that egg, like, it was massive.
Yeah.
I remember kids used to, I don't know if it ever happened, but kids used to joke about going down to the footy oval and kicking goals with one of the giant Easter eggs because it was the size of a football.
Yeah.
Back then, at least.
Yeah. I mean, the size that you're playing with as a kid as well.
Yeah.
But the controversy has arisen because the egg that you could buy this year left a little bit to be desired. We're talking 150 grams, no gold packaging, and you could even argue that it was the packaging itself was a little lacking because they even missed a team from the front.
Yeah, so I think that's a good point that you've touched on, the lack of gold as well.
Yeah.
I'm almost more upset about it not being a gold egg than I am the size, but it's half the size, no longer gold, and they forgot the dolphins on the front of the packaging.
They forgot the dolphins. So Dwayne Bennett, who is kind of this persona that the Dolphins have created, and his stuff is so funny. So if you've not seen it, you need to go check out the Dolphins TikTok and Instagram and stuff. But he did a video alluding to the fact that the dolphins were missed out from the packaging and he wasn't very happy about it. But I mean, it's a bit of a stuff up, isn't it?
Do you know what the egg is retailing for?
I did look it up. Now, I believe it's sold out, which would make sense, but it was around the $6 mark.
Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking like usually Cadbury Bunny, I think around the $5 mark when I was doing my Easter shopping for the family.
Yeah, I'm looking up the price of Cadbury Easter eggs right now. Okay, so it was $8 reduced to $6.
Yeah, okay. Well, clearly nobody wanted to buy the underwhelming egg.
Yeah,
they've had to reduce the price.
Maybe also reduced to $6 post Easter.
Yeah,
so
true.
I think you were paying $8 in the peak of Easter.
That's a bit
Easter egg buying.
It's a bit much for such a minimal football egg.
And so when you're looking at those kind of specialty eggs, like the big golden gay time ones or I'm looking at the gift packs at the moment, which I think it's fair to say the NRL would be in the same kind of caliber as those.
Oh, at the very least, if not higher, I think.
That's about $8.50. So I think people weren't impressed with the 150 grams.
Yeah, quite disappointing. I know I made a video about it, not about the lack of size, but I made a TikTok about just, kids waking up on Easter and finding the egg from the Easter bunny. And somebody commented on my TikTok saying that they got the AFL one and the NRL one and that they kicked the AFL one into the fridge and then kicked the NRL one into their stomach. So I had a good laugh at that.
That's pretty funny. I wonder if the AFL was any bigger or shaped slightly different, which it should be.
Yeah.
We're going to get down to specifics. Big on the details over here. But also on top of that, now I was gifted one, by the way. My brother got me one, which was really nice. He handed me the NRL egg and said, only you and 12-year-old boys got this for Easter. And I thought that was really nice of him.
Yeah, well, I'm turning 22 this year and I didn't get one. So clearly I've outgrown that egg,
well,
but you do
like
you, Kat.
That kind of rests his case because it was my 12-year-old cousins who also got one. So love that for me. But we actually did the ladder on the back too, which was, sparked a bit of family debate, which we love. But I want to talk about your Yowies. The reason I talked about trying hard before is because you had to purchase a lot of Yowies to actually come across a Bulldogs Yowie. Is that correct?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, the Yowie chocolate is, you could almost compare it to a Kinder Surprise, hey?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit bigger, but they did NRL chocolates and in each one you got a Yowie in a jersey. And so I went, okay, this is content. I'm going to buy a bunch and we're going to get a Bulldogs one. And so I reckon they were $4 each, maybe, like, not cheap. Bought maybe 3 or 4 of them, opened them all up, no Bulldogs ones. And, you know, you get all the comments saying, all right, get a Bulldogs one. And so, you know, put myself very out of pocket trying to find a Bulldogs Yowie. And then maybe on the 3rd or 4th attempt, I did eventually get one. And it was very exciting, Kat.
Oh, no. That was, exciting indeed. But I think your reaction was what made it the jubilation. Like, you can't fake that level of happiness.
Yeah, and I said to you before we started recording that some people might say that I was, you know, maybe a bit too excited and that it was faked excitement. No, it was embarrassingly real excitement.
And we will insert his reaction here for those who've not seen it, but funny stuff. I love the passion. I really do.
Let's open some Yowies. All right, hopefully we get it in this part because I've run out of eggs. I'm down to my last 2, so fingers crossed. I've worked on my opening skills as well, apparently, because I just opened that with ease. All right, let's open the little egg. Oh, this is just too easy. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, it's not. All right, here we go. Oh, Panthers, not Bulldogs. Easy peasy. And then the little egg. Crack it open. I'm actually nervous because I really want the Bulldogs. Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes, let's go! We did it! We did it! Let's go, baby. Let's trot. Let's trot.
I want to jump into the Eels-Tigers matchup, which was an unreal game. What a way to end a long weekend. I think the Tigers obviously came off the back of a great win against the Sharks. There was a lot of questions around whether or not they could back it up. And they certainly did. They put on a great performance in front of the Eels. But did you have a chance to catch that game?
Yeah, I think the Tigers-Eels Easter Monday game is becoming one of my favourite on the NRL calendar, to be honest. Because, you know, you finish your Easter activities, whatever you're doing, and then you sit back on a Monday and just get to enjoy some rugby league. And in the past few years, it's been an exciting game. Yeah. Obviously, yesterday we had a field goal decided with the Gutho missed conversion. Last year, the Tigers put on a big comeback. And then the year before was the Hastings field goal. So it's a good fixture.
Yeah, it's a great fixture. And I think you always see the best version of the Tigers against Para in this fixture, 100%. Which is nice because I do think it's fair to say they're the underdog in this clash, but they came in on fire and it was really good to see. But I love too that there was a lot of talk around Blaze Talagi, who's obviously with Parramatta Eels at the moment, and Lockie Galvin being halfback partners from back in the day. And they're both rookies coming through the system and kind of their matchup as well in addition to the teams. But let's just talk about Lockie Galvin for a second because he took social media by storm as well. You obviously had the send-off, which was controversial in itself. Once again, Jack Wyden, that kind of double standard that we see in the game. We're not going to talk about the Rabbitohs game. I just want to focus on Lockie Galvin because he had an unreal performance. And on top of that, there was also a send-off. But that send-off has now made it so that he can't win Rookie of the Year, which is so sad.
So, yeah, they've got the stupid rule which Jacob Preston fell victim to last year, which I'm a big Jacob Preston guy.
Yeah, he's unreal.
Where as soon as a rookie gets suspended, even if it's just 1 week, they're ineligible. I think it's the same for Dally M because Reece Walsh copped it as well. I'm not sure if there's a minimum weeks for the Dally M one, but to have a rookie... he's suspended for 2 weeks and he did deserve to be suspended. It was a hip drop.
Yeah.
But to have him ruled out for Rookie of the Year when he's such a talented player, and it just makes me think like, you look at a guy like Nathan Cleary, who is arguably the best player in the game right now. In his rookie year, if he got suspended and was robbed of Rookie of the Year and then goes on to be such a good player, it's just insane to me that just because of one tiny little moment and like a hip drop tackle, that's not something that's coached. That's something where it's a bit of laziness in the moment. He's a rookie in his 3rd game of rugby league in the NRL. And for that to cost him such a big award that, can impact a career is pretty hectic.
This could be his canon event though. This could be what makes Lockie Galvin just take it to the next level as well.
Well, it made him take it to the next level in the game. He came back from the sin bin and instead of going into his shell, as Guru alluded to yesterday in a tweet and in a post,
instead of going into his shell, actually.
Yeah, instead of going into his shell, he came out, he set up the match-winning try and just absolutely brained it. So that's always good to see.
Yeah. No, he, as you said, he had an unreal game. I think there was a lot left to be desired from Gutho in terms of his kicking game. I also had a lot of comments about that, people wanting us to talk about it. But once again, we're not technical. We're not analysts out here. We're not pundits. I think it was just fair to say that anyone who watched that could see the kicking game was off. Otherwise, Gutho had a great game, but it's wild to see how errors like that are what led to that scoreline and being able to win the way that they did. But that's what's great about the sport.
Yeah, 100%. That's why we love rugby league. You can have little moments that might seem not as big in the moment, but then when the 80 minutes is up, you look back and you go, oh, if only we got that.
Yeah, and I think we all love the rookie story. And we love to see a rookie coming through, doing good things, coming off the back of a send-off, comes back on, doesn't show any signs of slowing down. This is exactly what we want to see. And I think also what we want to see for the Tigers too.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You want to see that hunger from their side.
And especially for Tigers fans who have been through such a long period of time of lack of success. They had Buller come on the scene last year and absolutely explode, and now they've got Gavin as well. It's good, Tigers fans have their loyalty rewarded, and there's promise for the future. They're in the top 8 at the moment, which is huge for Tigers fans, so they'll be enjoying that.
I love it. My dad's a Tigers supporter, but he stopped watching footy, I think, in 2006.
Yeah.
So my dad doesn't have any clue what's going on, but he'll always know that the Tigers have won. And I think he's probably not alone in that, although I'm not condoning that behaviour by any means.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Not proud of that, actually. Speaking once again of the Tigers, now you mentioned they're in the top 8 at the moment. They're on more points than both of our teams. That was a deep sigh. I think people just in general wanted us to react to that, and I think the deep sigh says it all. But look, it's one of those things where I'm okay with seeing the Tigers doing well.
Yeah, there's plenty of other teams I'd not rather be ahead of me.
Yeah.
And obviously it's only round 4. It's a long season. Premierships aren't won in April. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
To all the Tigers fans that are buying their tickets to the final at the moment, just relax, take a breath.
Enjoy it though. They're allowed to enjoy it. Yeah. That's play on.
Oh, now I feel bad. All right.
I'm on the fence. Enjoy it, but also relax.
Yeah. Don't be too delulu, okay? Speaking of delulu, I made the choice of captaining Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in Supercoach this weekend, and I was feeling really, really positive about my decision because let's be real, despite being in multiple comps and head-to-heads, whatever, I want to beat Guru and I want to beat Timmy every week.
Can I just say, I almost might be more delulu than you because I sit down every week and watch beers and break evens, and I listen to what Guru says, I listen to what Timmy says, and I'm like, no, Kat's onto something. I'm also going to captain Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. So thanks for that.
No, you're welcome. But on the positive side, we did actually beat their scores. So they both captained Turbo. I did do better than that by 10 points or something.
Yeah, well, Guru put out his score yesterday and I beat him. So I'll put on the Guru hat. I'm now the Guru. Nah.
Yeah, you see. Oh, you didn't hold on to that for very long. You got scared.
No, I'm not the Guru. I'm tempted to hold that trophy and raise it up.
No, you were worried that he was going to run through the door and say, you just put on my hat. Yeah, no,
I'm already in his chair. It's enough.
I like that. Very respectful. But Roger, despite the Supercoach decision, and I stand by that, I think RTS is an unreal talent. I love seeing him back in the sport, and I also love seeing him at fullback. But there was this step frenzy that he did, this move in that game, and I don't think I've seen more content of a single play in my life than this. But we'll put it up on the screen. It was by the New Zealand Warriors, who, once again, we say every week, their content is just next level. But I love when you see this stuff kind of go viral as well on social media, because even if you didn't watch the game, you don't need the whole context of the game to see how unreal of a move that was.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about social media in the sports landscape is you get the highlights anyway, even if you're not watching the game, but you also get creators, I guess, their reactions to the highlights. But it's so cool that the Warriors are putting out this sort of content as well. You don't have to rely on your roasties or other creators. Clubs are starting to learn that it's all right for them to do that sort of content. It doesn't always have to be super professional content. They can have fun with it as well. So that's always good to see.
Yeah, and tying in the memes and whatnot. I think it's so good. But RTS is just such a talent. That stepping is crazy. Yeah. To be that build, that size, and also the agility, the lateral movements, it's crazy. Like when you actually realize.
Historically, I think he's very arguably one of the best steppers, if not the best stepper ever. Before he went to Union, he was always known for his step. I remember in the trials, Blake Wilson stepped a Storm player to score a try, and everyone was saying it was a Roger Tuivasa check step. I remember people used to just call him Roger Tuivasa step. So yeah, he's a gun.
Nice. It's amazing. It's amazing. And like I said, I love when stuff like that goes viral because it's so worthy of that.
Yeah, 100%.
And speaking of going viral, there was also a rather controversial move from a Sharks trainer in the Raiders-Sharks clash. Now, if you missed it, Jamal Fogarty was taking a conversion and a Sharks trainer ran across him. Now, not in his line of vision necessarily, not in front of him, but next to him and kind of in between Jamal and the camera. And there was, the Raiders are taking some pretty serious steps to say that the trainer did the wrong thing and that it was a distraction. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was suspicious timing from the trainer. I guess it's sort of hard to sit back and say it was intentional. It could have, I'm not saying it wasn't intentional, but I haven't spoken to the trainer, so I don't know. But the Raiders are having the NRL investigate it, which is very interesting, and I'm keen to see the outcome of that. You always get a bit of drama like this with Ricky Stewart coach sides. It's always entertaining. He's good for a bit of entertainment.
He is very good for a bit of entertainment, and I think having a coach like that would only perpetuate it within the club, like team discussions too.
Yeah, 100%.
I also saw a clip of Des just spraying the Titans over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I thought and I have a friend who's been coached by Des before, and he said that there is nothing scarier than being in a locker room with Des after a loss.
Yeah, I was watching that I was watching it, and the analyst reacting to it was saying, this is an insane Des Hasler spray. That was actually mild, I think, for what I've seen from Des Hasler in the past. I remember when he was coaching Manly, there was a spray game where he's just absolutely ripping the players apart, and then he rips a door off their hinges.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, he didn't take any doors off their hinges in this one, so I feel like it was pretty mild from Des. But I feel like that clip goes viral every time you see a Des spray.
Yeah.
So remember the time he ripped a door off its hinges? Can you imagine having that level of anger in you? My goodness.
Yeah, Des, he's almost a content cartel. Maybe he did it on purpose and just likes to give us the content we need.
Maybe. I'd like to think about it like that, and not that he's just an angry person just letting it out on the boys. But I did spot him a couple of weeks ago when I was up at the Gold Coast, and he was having a nice dinner with his wife and I think some friends, and I saw calm Des.
Yeah, I actually ran into him at the Gold Coast airport. Grand final week, I was up on the Gold Coast for like a uni national sort of thing, and on the way home, he was just chilling at the Gold Coast airport. So yeah, he's not always angry. He didn't look angry when I saw it.
No, you didn't get a spray from Des.
I didn't cop a Des Hasler spray, luckily.
Neither did I, but you never know.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not watching and he doesn't like what we're saying about him. And comes in and
it's all love. It's all love, Des. Especially with you, Des. It's all love.
Yeah, absolutely love Des Hasler. I've got nothing against him.
Yeah. Well, that's all the main kind of social pieces that we were sent that people wanted us to react to. Did you want to do a little quiz for me? Was that where we were going with this today?
Do you want me to quiz you? Yeah, I can. Let me pull one up.
So we were thinking, now Winston's thing is to go out at games and shoot content and ask. I think they're very unique questions. You ask about the nationalities of players or questions about logos and things like that. And he said he would give me one. So I'm actually a bit nervous for this because I'm never the one getting quizzed, but bring it on.
I often have, when I go up to people at the games and I'm like, oh, you want to do a quiz? They're always like, can you give me an easy one? So Kat, do you want an easy one? Or
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm going to give you.
I don't want.
Let's do this one. This one will be fun, and I'll probably reuse this one in a TikTok. So
sweet
because it's that good. But can you name 6 NRL teams with 2 eyes in their logo?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Don't look behind you at the logo. We're looking around the studio. There's logos everywhere.
I'm just going to look at you. Okay. Raiders.
Yep, that's one.
Manly Seagulls.
No.
Eels.
Eels. No.
Bulldogs.
Yep, Bulldogs.
Obviously. The bunnies don't have eyes.
They have eye.
They have an eye. Yeah, sorry. They have an eye. So wait, Raiders,
so you've got
yes.
Raiders and Bulldogs.
And Bulldogs. You said 6.
Yep, so 4 to go.
People are screaming at their computers right now. Let's go. I'm having a mind blank. Like, who else is even in the team? Which other teams even exist?
Yeah, it's good on the spot.
Roosters?
Not Roosters.
Oh my God, I'm just labeling it.
You're doing good here.
Oh no.
There's 4
Tigers.
there. Tigers,
yeah. There's definitely 2 in the Tigers.
Yep. 3 to go.
Warriors?
Yep. Warriors. 2 to go.
2 to go.
One of them's an animal and one of them's not an animal.
Knights?
Not Knights.
No, that's facing.
Yeah. Yeah, not easy, hey?
No, these are tough. These are tough. It's not bunnies. You said it's not an animal.
So
Titans,
Titans,
yeah.
and then the last one
more
is an animal. Yeah, the last one's an animal.
The last one is an animal. Panthers.
Yeah, you got it. Well done. Very good.
By the way, the camera was on me that whole time because I couldn't switch cameras and focus on that. But well, that was fun.
Yeah, that's good.
I enjoyed that. Thank you so much for
You
testing
don't
me.
get the pleasure of being, I guess, somebody at the game where I get to edit it and make them look smarter than they actually were. I do lots of cutting out silences.
Oh, aren't you nice? I will just edit myself.
Yeah. Yeah, good
That's
idea.
the beauty of this. I have full creative control. No, I'm not going to edit that. Guys, it was raw. That was me processing everything, knowing that the pressure was on. So I said that we were going to do a bit of a catch-up. Let's dive into more about you now. Where did the love of the Bulldogs come from?
Good question. So I never chose the Bulldogs. I was born into it.
They chose me.
They chose me. It's in the blood. Yeah, so my entire family on my dad's side, they're pretty much all Bulldog fans. There's one aunt that's a Dragons fan, and then some of her kids aren't Bulldogs fans because they got a bit lost along the way, I guess. But so everyone goes for the Bulldogs, and so I guess I'd have to tie it back to my granddad. That's where it all started. He grew up in Canterbury. Yeah. He was like playing for the Lakembara in cricket.
Unreal.
And as a teenager, I don't remember the name of the dude, but somebody up the road from him took him to a Belmore game. Obviously, that's where they were playing back then, and just fell in love with it straight away. And thanks to that random guy that lived up the road from my granddad, I am.
But it's wild how it does just take a connection like that, or a weekend where you get taken to a game and then all of a sudden it starts something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Really nice.
And I actually only recently found that, like, because that's the reason I go from, but my great-grandmother and grandfather, they both grew up in Canterbury. And so I always just assumed, they came into the competition when my great-grandmother was living in Canterbury, and so she jumped on them. But yeah, that wasn't the case. So that's always interesting.
So it's actually because your grandfather crossed paths with someone.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really
He was
nice.
actually a soccer fan, and then
like Sydney Olympic was NPL a thing back then.
I'm going to be honest, Kat.
You don't
I don't know.
Oh, that's save the
I'm
soccer.
sorry, but but he was a
Sydney
soccer
Olympic
fan.
share that
I'm familiar
Belmore
with
ground.
that,
So I just assumed. But anyway, we won't delve into too much soccer. I don't want people exiting the conversation. So what's your most memorable experience, I guess, with the Bulldogs so far? You're wearing 04 premiers.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to make assumptions about your age, but you were pretty young when that happened.
I was 2 years old.
Any
I was
memories?
at the game. I was at the game.
Wow.
Don't remember it, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah.
My earliest memory is actually 2009 round one. It was Bulldogs versus Manly in the rain at then ANZ Stadium, and Hazmel Masri broke the point scoring record that night. And that's probably my earliest memory. Best memory, I'd have to say 2014 grand final week, the night before the grand final, just in Belmore, the atmosphere of Belmore, the cars honking, the drums, just the vibe. It was like I do a lot of things to, be able to re-experience that. It was so hectic. I remember that week, mum and dad, because I grew up out near Bathurst, and that's maybe 3 hours from Belmore.
Wow.
And I remember that day, mum and dad were like, we have to take the kids to Belmore because what if, it never happens again? Because obviously 2012, we made the grand final and we didn't go to Belmore. And so mum and dad were like, we got to take the kids just in case. And it hasn't happened since. So I'm glad they did that.
That's also one of those crazy things where it's such a crucial memory for you, and it could have been also something that speaking of canon events, like you needed that experience to care as much as you do, and that's kind of shaped 100%. A lot of what you do these days.
Yeah, I think that definitely, like that's definitely a canon event, a core memory in terms of me being a Bulldogs fan. Definitely, maybe I always think back to it. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's mad. And let's just stay on the Bulldogs train at the moment. Who's your favourite player currently?
My favourite player currently, it's got to be Matt Burton. I love Birdo. Last year, it would have been Jake Averillo, and I don't like talking about Jake Averillo because he left. Oh,
you're so sad.
But, then when Averillo left and then Burton, he kicked the field goal against the Cowboys, and I always liked Birdo when we signed him. But when Jake Averillo left, I sort of shifted my attention more to Birdo.
Do you know, I like that you've mentioned Jake Averillo because he was one that I felt was never fully utilized. Never came to he's got so much potential. He's so good. And you definitely see glimpses of that at the Dolphins right now. Yeah. But I think he's got a long way to go and he's going to do really, really good things in the game. But he just never quite got there at the Bulldogs and it was a bit of a shame.
Yeah, he was shifted positions a lot and never reached his full potential. But you can see the potential that's there. And he's a very, very quality player. I'm a big Jake Averillo fan.
I think the Dolphins have struck gold by grabbing him, and I think he seems pretty happy with it. But I know what you mean. It's bittersweet sometimes when you look at those changes and you're like, oh.
Yeah, there's a couple of others that I like Blake Wilson. I'm loving Josh Curran at the moment. Obviously,
I love
Preston.
Curran.
He's a gun. So it's nice to have like Carraz as well. There's so many of them where I'm just like I like a big chunk of them, which is nice.
I think in the social media world too, I really like how Preston has done a lot of stuff with emerging content creators. He spoke to, it was Ajube and
Hectic Fred.
And Hectic Fred. He's did that
been on
interview.
Cast Patrol as well.
Yeah. Are we going to see a Winston Neville cross Jacob Preston collab?
Jacob Preston, reach out. Jump on Orange Peelers. I know he watches the Guru podcast.
We know you're watching. Reach out.
Actually, I did an interview with him at the members' Christmas party. I don't know if you've seen that. I interviewed Preston, Birdo, and Curran.
Yeah.
That was potentially going to go on the Bulldog socials and didn't, and so I just used it for my own content. But Preston knew who I was, which is pretty sick. That was very humbling.
So when you met him, he already knew who you were.
Yeah, and Carraz as well knows who I am. And
that's how you know you made it.
That's the most humbling thing ever. It's mind blowing.
That's really cool. I love that for you because I think you spend so much energy on this stuff. Like you obviously know so many people in this space. I know so many people in this space, and so many that you don't know about yet, but want to get to that point. And they would look at what you're doing, and that would be kind of the quintessential collabing with my club, being at a members event, interviewing players. That's the dream.
Yeah, it's sick. Yeah, it's very humbling. I'm very grateful for where I am because. I've worked hard.
I love it. And what are the plans for content moving forward? Anything exciting?
I don't know if I've anything big
just
coming.
Just pretend. Yeah, we got this huge project I'm working on.
So actually, I can't go into details too much, Kat, but
exactly.
there's something coming.
You're learning.
No, I'm just keep doing what I'm doing and good things have been coming off the back of it. Exactly. So I just got to keep doing what I'm doing and hopefully more good things come off the back of it.
And for anyone who is watching this thinking, I want to be like Winston and make content like this, don't laugh because I mean it. There are people out there who would look at what you're doing and think that's the goal. What is that piece of advice for them?
Just like a lot of people always they're being like, oh, how do I start doing content? You just have to start.
Yeah.
You just have to start making content. I try and do lots. I try and post like daily on TikTok, that sort of thing, and just stay consistent with it. And I feel like if you can produce content consistently, it's inevitable that stuff is going to start happening off the back of it. It might not happen quickly, but I feel like if you just stay consistent and just keep producing even just semi-quality content, I feel like good things will happen. Yeah.
No, I'm a big believer in that too because I think people might only know you at the moment, but they don't realize how long it took you to get to that point. And like I feel that very much myself in the work that I've done and the fact that I've been in the content space or in the media space for, since 2017. Yeah. Which is like a long time. And nothing feels like it happened overnight. Like definitely you can get that sense of snowballing. Like I'm sure when
100%,
the Bulldogs first replied to something or first shared something, you were like, wow. But think how many pieces of content you needed to create before you could get to the point that would happen.
And yeah, it does feel like it does snowball a bit, but yeah, you have to create some sort of a snowball before it can get bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
And
yeah. There needs to be some snowfall.
Yeah. You need snowfall to make a snowball.
Oh, that is so deep. That's
Put that
so
on
deep.
like a picture with, mountains in the background and a sunset.
With quote Winston Neville.
Winston Neville.
Oh, I love it.
The Bulldogs guru.
The Bulldogs guru.
Not my words.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the Catch-Up. It's been nice catching up with you, just talking about what's happening in the social media space. And I really appreciated getting the game day experience by being quizzed by you. That was fantastic.
Thank you very much for inviting me on. I very much appreciate being back here, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, you're welcome here anytime, especially when the Rabbitohs have just beaten the Bulldogs.
Yeah, look, I did think about, cancelling it. You're like, oh, we'll get you on after Good Friday. And then I was like, am I sick today? No, it's been great. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you didn't do the whole sorry, I'm sick, I can't make it.
Can't make it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't get stuck in traffic or anything, unfortunately.
No. Although you could have pretended, but I'm grateful that you didn't. So thank you for joining us. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Maybe another guest, maybe Guru, maybe I'll have both on an episode. I don't know. Only the future knows, and I can't wait. It'll be another exciting week of content. As always, send us anything you want us to react to, anything that catches your eye over the week. And we've been receiving a number of guest roos that I will be using for Guru over the coming weeks. So if you have one, feel free to send it in, because that is probably the highlight of the episode. If I'm honest, I love testing him. So thank you for tuning in. And Winston, once again, thank you for joining me.
No, just once again, thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure.